Remember when the boss of Spotify called Harry and Meghan grifters? Remember that? It wasn't the nicest thing, wasn't it, to be associated with? This was after, of course, they paid them millions for that now, well, shall we say, indisputable debut as podcasters. And as I told you before, the deal actually was, people forget this, but it was also meant to include Prince Harry originally. Nobody really understood how it just suddenly became Meghan, you know. If you remember on that very first trailer, she was very keen to include his voice because apparently his English accent sounded better and people would listen more. So somewhere along the line between that very shaky debut and of course suddenly it becoming archetypes or whatever it's called, well, Meghan decided to scrub out Prince Harry. But what's interesting is now, following that, the launch of The Jam and the cookery show, well, guess what? Netflix are less than happy. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Lovely to have your company. And as ever, yes, you're all right. Not bad. Yet still here, yes, in Canary Wharf. That is the Docklands Light Railway, if you don't know. Always reminds me of the Johnny Cab thing in there. I think it's Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you remember that? Yeah, oh, dates you, doesn't it? I know it's a bit like the word wireless. Nobody says wireless anymore, do they? Nobody says radio anymore, do they? It's all downloading. Gosh, we're showing our age today, aren't we? No, we're not. We're still young. That's the thing, isn't it? We're all still young at heart. Now, back as ever to your royal story of the day. As we know, Meghan's been zipping around with pots of jam to chums and all that sort of stuff. But what was really interesting, I felt, was the fact that Meghan clearly at some point decided, well, you know, either she'd run out of jam or got bored, but that's now on the back burner because it's all about Nigeria. Yeah, she's going to be hailed as a princess, almost a second coming. I mean, you know, everything's all about Meghan, as we know. But this came as something of a shock because you see, a couple of weeks ago, they started production on the Netflix cookery show. You know, the one that's part of the American Riviera Orchard brand. Now, you know, by the time we're filming this, that might be kaput also. But on a more serious note, that was the deal. And they spent a lot of money and they set up time and production and all that sort of stuff. According to a very well-placed source, though, out the bolt of the blue, because this wasn't planned, or, you know, it wasn't, shall we say, a foregone conclusion, Nigeria came off and production is now shut down. You see how these things work? When Meghan flicks around to the next project, that's the deal, you see. Now, they've no idea, really. They think possibly in 2 weeks, production will start up again. So when you think about it, we're going to get into the end of May, possibly now into June. So they're looking at least September, fall time, as they call it, I believe in America, autumn time that we call it over here in the United Kingdom, when that show will launch. So she's gone from launching an Instagram account with very few followers, a few pots of jam, to a half-baked cookery show that Netflix truly have now no idea when this will actually come to fruition, or to get a pun in there, come to the boil. Now, perhaps when you think about it now and you think about Spotify, maybe, just maybe, they could have been possibly right about being, shall we say the word nicely, grifters. Either way, Meghan's not rising to the occasion on a cookery show right now, and Netflix are less than pleased. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.